As Captain Elena Rodriguez navigated the Orion through a dense fog in the middle of the Atlantic, it was obvious her crew was pretty stressed. The instruments on the ship kept failing, the compasses were spinning without direction, and the radios only had static. To make things worse, they were surrounded by a white mist so thick that no one could see through it. Elena tried to continue moving forward despite how heavy the fog was, but the crew grew so anxious that Elena ultimately ordered to turn off the engines, hopefully giving her crew some temporary relief and some time to think about what to do. But, without warning, a low, eerie hum filled the air. But even though it wasn't that audible, it was vibrating through the ship. The crew looked at each other nervously, but Elena stayed strong and tried to figure out where the sound was coming from. Then, out of the fog, came weird shadows, and slowly all sorts of old sunken ships floating eerily in the water. As the Orion moved forward, the water beneath them darkened and became completely black, as if something massive was approaching them from under the ship. The crew started to panic. But just as quickly as it all started, the fog lifted and the ocean went back to normal. As they were leaving, they looked back to see those ghost ships and the deep, dark water again. But it was all gone. Captain Elena and her crew made it safely to their destination, but Elena never talked about what they encountered. Elena was a hardened sailor and a skeptic at heart, so she just convinced herself that there was some reasonable explanation, and some of her crew talked, but no one really believed them. If you're familiar with the area they crossed, you would know that they just witnessed one of the many strange things that are said to happen in the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is a place that has been in the center of many conspiracy theories. It's a loosely defined area in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. This place is infamous for a bunch of disappearances of ships and airplanes that have happened there under mysterious circumstances. Now, people can't really seem to agree on exactly where the boundaries of the area are, but most people think it's around Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. But it doesn't have any official boundaries, and the US Navy and other government folks don't really consider it a legit geographic area. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle started to gain attention in the middle of the 20th century, largely because some writers who were fascinated by the mystery behind some highly publicized disappearances. The most well-known ones are when Flight 19, a group of 5 US Navy bombers, disappeared in 1945, and when the civilian planes Star Tiger and Star Ariel vanished in 1948 and 1949, one after the other. There were also ships like the USS Cyclops and the civilian vessel SS Marine Sulphur Queen that simply disappeared in the area. So there have been a bunch of theories thrown out there to try to explain the whole mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. You've got some more down-to-earth explanations like rogue waves, methane hydrates, and magnetic compass variations. But then you've also got some pretty out-there ideas involving aliens, time travel, and even the lost city of Atlantis. But here's the thing. Most scientists and researchers say that the number of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is not really that much different from any other part of the ocean. Most of them think that many of the supposed mysteries were likely blown out of proportion and reported inaccurately. But honestly, even if the Bermuda Triangle isn't a real thing, I'd probably still stay clear of the area. I'm not sure if the fact that the number of disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle is normal compared to everywhere else in the world is comforting, or if it's just making my fear of the ocean worse.